never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Hopefully everybody has a busy but wonderful weekend planned. I hope you enjoyed the first 2 full days of the NCAA basketball tournament. But today here on the channel I want to talk some college football. It's time for another early 2024 prediction video for what I believe another team is going to do in the 2024 college football season. I done my first one of the season a few weeks back when I did a video about the South Carolina Gamecocks. Today, I'm going to talk about a team that was once again a letdown in this year's college basketball tournament. This team has been a blue blood in the world of college basketball for years and years and years. But now all of a sudden, the past 7 or 8 years, they either lose in the first game or the first round. They have not been to the Elite Eight or the Final Four in college basketball in a long time. So they are fresh on everybody's mind right now because everybody's talking about, does the coach need to be fired? Does the coach need to leave? Is the coach going to leave? So I thought, you know what? I'll talk about them in the world of college football, and that is Kentucky. Now, we know Kentucky is notorious in football for opening up the season against 3 of the biggest patsies you've ever heard of in non-conference games, and then they'll usually play Vanderbilt and Mississippi State or some other really awful team and start out 5-0. And you think, oh, look at Kentucky. And then they'll finish 7-5 because the backside of the schedule is loaded. Well, this year, there's no way they could start out with 4 or 5 of the biggest patsies you've ever seen. So let's look at their schedule and see what they're going to do in 2024. Of course, their quarterback should be Brock Vandagriff, who, of course, is the transfer from Georgia. I don't see him transferring to Kentucky to be the backup. But I could be wrong, but they have not announced it yet. But, of course, it's only March. The season is still a little over 5 months away, but I'm assuming that Brock Vandagriff will be their quarterback this year. They open up on August the 31st in a non-conference game against the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles. Game number 2, September the 7th, South Carolina. Game number 3, they play Georgia on the 14th. Then back to a non-conference game against Ohio on September 21st. Then they wrap up the month of September on the 28th against Ole Miss. The first week of October is their first bye week of the season. Back in action on October the 12th against Vanderbilt. Then they play Florida on October the 19th. Auburn on October 26th. Then they kick off the month of November on the 2nd against Tennessee. And then their second bye week of the season, November the 16th, non-conference game against Murray State. And then game number 11 is against the Texas Longhorns on November 23rd. And then, of course, as always, they wrap up the regular season November the 30th against Louisville. Now, Louisville should again this year be the better team, but for whatever reason, Kentucky beats Louisville in football every year. I don't think this year's going to be any different. So I've got them winning all 4 non-conference games against Southern Miss, Ohio, Murray State, and the aforementioned Louisville. So that's 4 wins. In the SEC, if you watched my prediction video against Kentucky and South Carolina, I said that Kentucky would probably beat South Carolina, but South Carolina would beat them. So that being said, I've got them beating South Carolina, and I've got them beating Vanderbilt. So I've got them 2-6 in the SEC, 6-6 overall, which is about where Kentucky generally is every year. Sometimes they'll have Missouri on the schedule, and that's a winnable game. But now that the SEC has so many teams in it, they're not guaranteed to play Missouri every year. So this year, they're playing more teams out of the, what I guess you'd call the SEC West, which of course is the tougher side. And the reason why I say I guess you'd call it the West is because, to me, there's so many teams now that are not really in the East or the West that it doesn't matter what you call it. It's not really the East. It's not really the West, but the division is called the West. But we know that, the East has always had Vanderbilt, who's terrible. And Missouri is average. Kentucky is average. Florida now, most years, is average. Whereas in the West, you've got Arkansas, who's pitiful, and Mississippi State, who's next to pitiful. But all the other teams in the West are usually really good. I just don't see Kentucky beating Georgia or Ole Miss or Florida or Auburn or Tennessee. And I sure don't see them beating Texas. I know Auburn is still only going to be in their second year under their new coach. So Auburn is still, not a top 10 team by any means. But I still think they're better than Kentucky. So we'll go with 2-6 in the SEC, 6-6 overall. Any thoughts on Kentucky's 2024 college football season? Please feel free to let me know. We're only a week away from the return of football, because 1 week from today, Saturday, March 30th, we get the United Football League, which is a joint venture between the Arena Football League and the USFL. They have merged to become the UFL. So if you're a football fan, only a week away from the return of some football on your television. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Why does Piglet smell so bad? Because he plays with poo. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.